So transitioning to the Chiefs and the LA Chargers, who by the way, both playing in the AFC West. This AFC West is starting to potentially rival the NFC West for the best division in football. I'd still give the edge to the NFC West right now, but this AFC West is an extremely good team, as an extremely good division. You look at this division, the Chiefs are at the bottom of the AFC West right now at 1-2. You got the Chargers at 2-1 in the division. You got the Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders are 3-0 in that division. The Denver Broncos are undefeated in that division, 3-0. This is the first time in the Patrick Mahomes era that the Chiefs have never been atop the AFC West standings. In fact, this is the first time since 2015 that the Chiefs ever had, at some point in the season, a losing record. That's how good, that's how consistent this team has been. It's extremely impressive what the run that kind of they've been on. And then when I actually look at this game and I look at the Chargers from a talent perspective, these two teams are actually fairly evenly matched. The Chargers have a similar number of talented players as the Kansas City Chiefs. They've got two stud wide receivers in Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. They've got a really good running back in Austin Eckler, a skilled tight end in Jared Cook. You've got notable names on defense, Joey Bosa. Their secondary is sensational. Derwin James, Asante Samuel filling in, Asante Samuel played really well, but he's filling in for Chris Harris, who's really good. So from a talent perspective, there's an argument to be made that both of these teams are fairly evenly matched talented-wise. The Chargers have a young ascending quarterback, Justin Herbert, who was playing mistake-free football yesterday, 26 of 38, 281 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions on the road in a tough road environment that is Kansas City, and he wasn't rattled at all. Totally composed, wasn't frazzled by the moment, played with composure and with poise. And the Chargers have kind of, it's funny, they've kind of essentially started their season with 3 road games. They started at Washington, then they played the Dallas Cowboys at home, which SoFi Stadium was actually littered with more Dallas Cowboy fans in attendance, I think, than Chargers fans. And then yesterday they went to Kansas City on the road. So they've essentially opened up with 3 road games. And yet this is a team that's probably been one of the most disheartening and laughable late game teams in recent memory in the NFL. This is always the team that they're coming up with different gaffes and they always fall a little bit short. And it's almost heartbreaking, but comical to a degree, seeing how frequently this Chargers team would just kind of fall apart down the stretch and just be on the wrong side of the fortune and just kind of have this misfortune. And yet it finally seems like they've started to turn a new leaf, especially this year. They seem like an improved version up until this point, being able to close out a win at Washington, now against Kansas City, having a great performance. So, again, that's on the perspective of the Chargers, was a team that just kind of seemed incapable of winning games late down the stretch. But you flip it to the Chiefs. From the Chiefs' perspective, they've kind of shot themselves in the foot in both of their losses. Yes, this is a Chiefs team that's 1-2, and there shouldn't be too much concern with them. But the reality is, this is a team that should be 3-0. They should have beaten the Ravens. They were up 35-24. They had the ball with a minute and a half left at the Ravens' 32-yard line, trailing 36-35. Everything was set up for a game-winning drive. They had the victory on a silver platter right in front of them, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire coughed it up. And he's kind of had real ball security issues this entire season. Think about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So far, He had another costly critical fumble yesterday on a promising drive by the Chiefs, who only scored 3 points in the first half. They trailed 14-0 at one point. So they've got to clean that up. And then you have a guy in Patrick Mahomes who, listen, Patrick Mahomes, his greatest strength is also his greatest liability. His improvisation, his extemporization, that's what makes him who he is, but that's also been the biggest detriment for their team this year. And so far, he's been a little bit careless with the football at times. 3 interceptions so far through the first 3 games. He had 2 interceptions yesterday. And that last one where he's kind of backpedaling and falling off his back foot on that 3rd and 8 with 2 minutes left. And it was picked off. I forget the name of the CB. Alohi Gilman picked him off on that 3rd and 8 play. That's a ball where if you're Patrick Mahomes, he's falling off his back foot. He throws it over Kelsey's head. It was intended for Travis. There's just been some throws like that this entire year where you just kind of get the sense that he's almost being a little too reckless at times. Now, again, it's kind of the give and take with this guy because he is so talented and he's so special and he's so unique and possesses such a rare skill set that you say, well, he can get away with a lot of that type of stuff. And for the majority of his career, he was frequently getting away with that. But yesterday, it kind of was starting to catch up with him. And the reality is yesterday and through the first 3 games, he hasn't gone away quite as much. He hasn't gone away with that quite as much. And it's little details like that where I think the Chiefs, if they just clean those things up, they're 3-0 instead of 1-2 right now. And so, once again, Chiefs were in the driver's seat. They had the ball, tied 24-24 with 2 minutes to go. You can't ask for a better situation. You wouldn't want any other quarterback in that situation. And it was a rare miscue by Mahomes, a rare blown opportunity. And, now they sit at the bottom of the division. But a great battle from both sides, a huge AFC West showdown. This is just the 3rd game of the season for both of these teams. This is just the tip of the iceberg for the AFC West. Already an incredible division, incredible early season game, and a big-time road win for a Chargers team that really could use a psychological boost and some confidence. This will be huge for them moving forward. No one's saying that the Chargers are better than the Kansas City Chiefs or that they're going to dethrone the Chiefs as the team to beat in the AFC. But it certainly helped validate, at least in their minds, that we can play with this team. We can compete with this team. And perhaps we might be, fringe contenders to win the AFC. That certainly is now going to begin to percolate in their mind. As it should. It was a big-time win. Very impressive one.